Hey there, this is Frank Klesitz. This is the start of our new 8-week marketing class where, oh, need the keys? Wallet. It's my wife needing my wallet. This is the start of our 8-week marketing class. I'm going to take about 3 clients here, all the way through getting the most results they could possibly get on the viral marketing program. They're going to watch us over the course of 8 weeks, go through all the unique deliverables of what we do here at Viral to make sure that you guys are actually getting business from all this. And it's more difficult now than it was 2 years ago. We're doing what, 6 million transactions a year in real estate. Now we're down to 4. So that only means you have to probably build a bigger database, reach more people to find that needle in a haystack of somebody that wants to sell their house. All right. So you're just going to watch us work together and have a conversation of dialing this stuff in. So let's go through and do some introductions really quick. I want you to meet David Brownell. David, introduce yourself to everyone who's watching us. Tell us about
Hi,
yourself.
I'm David Brownell. I'm in the Las Vegas market in Las Vegas, Nevada. I've been a realtor for over 25 years, and I have been a client and colleague of Frank's now for a little over coming up on 2 years.
Yeah,
And my experience has been great, and I'm looking forward to this opportunity to accelerate my business while I'm sharing the insights with everyone here.
make some more money, get this to work better. Thanks for doing this,
Absolutely.
Dave. Appreciate it. Rob, introduce yourself to everybody.
I'm Rob Hale in the Phoenix, Arizona market. I've been in the business for almost 20 years, and I can't remember how many years ago I started with Viral. Stopped a few months ago and jumping back on to see if we can
To work again.
get even better results.
Yeah. Yeah, to see if we get this thing to work.
Yep.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it. Brandy, we just did an interview with Brandy. It'll be posted shortly up on our reviews page. But I want you to just briefly tell everyone about your background and why you're here.
Okay, hi everyone. I am from Austin, Texas, and our interview was fun because I got to tell everyone that I fired Frank 3 times, and and then I'm back around.
Yeah.
But I keep coming back, so that says something. But I'm excited, to really go really deeper into the program and really kind of get everything that I can possibly out of it. So I'm excited to be here.
Brandy, thank you. If it wasn't for past clients coming back, I don't think Vero would be in business. Our number one lead source is past clients, people that hired us, quit, come back, for whatever reasons, because they're trying to get something to work and it's not working. So you jump from one thing to the next. And the whole reason we're here is to make this work. So thank you. Appreciate you guys. All right. Let's go through what we're going to spend our time on over these next 8 weeks together. I have a very clear syllabus. This is up on the website under class. All right, so hang on here. Let me pull this up. And if you're watching this live, I did complete the first semester of 3 other people. We took all through this. So we just click class on the top of our website. You'll see here's all 8 lessons where I took 3 clients through all 8 lessons already. These are all the recordings of the last semester. You guys are the next semester. You're the new students. This has already been done 8 times already for the material. So we're going to be going over the same material, but personalized for your guys' needs. Okay. So here's what we're going to cover. Today, meeting number 1. I want to be able to answer the question is, are you prospecting or advertising correctly to build your database of your target client? That's the mission of today's meeting. Do you have a plan to build your database of the right person that we're staying in touch with? We're going to spend the entire hour today. Next week, we're going to cover, okay, when you're building your database and you have all these strangers giving you permission to stay in touch, how do we actually get them in your email program? How do we actually get them into your Facebook retargeting ads? How do we actually get them on the 36 touch marketing plan that you're paying us to execute? Okay. Then, now that they're on the plan, how do we send them 2 helpful videos a month that are actually relevant, that gets them to click, or somebody that probably wants to bring you business? How do we actually shoot videos people actually want that are relevant? We're going to cover that. Then, not only do it on the viral plan, you send 2 videos a month, which is plenty. All right. We also want to spike lead generation by sending out a lead generation offer once a month, maybe finding out what your home is worth, come to a seller workshop. We want to give them a reason to respond and put their information into a web form or some type of field to generate a lead, in addition to just like sending helpful videos. All right. Next, we're going to talk about, okay, we have your whole database and we're going to send them emails. And yeah, we're going to send them social media, but all that, I gotta be honest with you, isn't that great? I can't guarantee they're going to open the email. Actually, I can guarantee about 70% of people won't based upon the metrics. And I can't guarantee that those contacts that you spend a lot of money and time adding to your database are actually going to see you on social media. I have no idea. No idea. As far as I know, it's all bots, right? So we're going to use mail. We also want to stay in touch with your contacts using physical mail because I know they're actually going to get it if it's a confirmed mailing address. Then once we got that touch system in place of 1 letter a month, 2 videos a month, and 1 lead generation email a month, this is kind of your 36 touch, so to speak. Let's make sure that all those contacts that you went out and you advertised and you built your database correctly are seeing you and you're following them around on social media everywhere with some good retargeting. A couple dollars a day on advertising, nothing crazy. We don't have the budget to reach people all over the city. It's very expensive and we have no idea who they are. The social media companies are very coy with who's actually seeing the ads. So we all want to spend a little bit of money on retargeting your warmest audiences, people visiting your website, the people in your database, people interacting with you online. That's the most cost-effective way of spending money on online ads. Then last but not least, okay, you're building your database, which we're talking about today. You're sending a bunch of stuff to it in an intelligent, consistent way, which is meetings what, 2 through 6. Okay. Who are the people clicking on the links? Who are the people watching the videos? Who are the people that are opting in? Are we calling them? Are we calling them? Case in point, this has absolutely nothing to do with today's lesson, but I have to share this. A client of ours did a webinar for recruiting and didn't get much response from it. Okay. Like people that wanted to talk. Then I asked a very simple question. Do you have the registrant list of everyone that attended the webinar? Yes, there were like 600 people. Well, did you call them to see if they wanted to talk? Would they be open to a discussion about whatever? All right. First 2 days, 28 appointments by just reaching out and asking for the appointment proactively versus it coming in. Fair enough. So we have to make sure that when we do the touch marketing, we're actually calling the people that engage. And then last but not least, for the information here, now that you are basically publishing, you're building your database of people looking to move, I'm assuming that's the audience we want to go after. We're going to talk about that more today. That really is the audience that you want. Is there any way we can get some other businesses that want to go after the same audience to pitch in? Is there any way we get some other businesses that want the same audience that you're going in front of to maybe buy some advertising in your emails and in your videos and the stuff that you're doing to help maybe zero cost your fixed cost, which is really stressful when you're on a 100% commission based non-residual revenue model as a real estate agent? And that can lower a lot of stress and bring some peace of mind. So these are all the things we're going to talk about together, guys, over the next 8 weeks to maximize what you're doing with viral. How does that sound? That's the plan.
Sounds good.
All right.
Good.
So David, I'm going to ask you a question to start.
Okay.
What do you want more of? So buyers, sellers, recruiting, like who is your target market? Who do you want to pay you?
Sellers.
Whose problem do you solve? Sellers. Okay.
Yes.
Now I'm going to force you to pick one primary way of, well, let me actually step back. One of the prerequisites for this course when you register, so for everyone who registered for this, is I want you to read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, regardless if you're a real estate agent or not. There's a chapter in there. It's a book Gary Keller wrote back in like 2006 called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It's a red cover. There's a chapter in there called the lead generation model. It's one of the best explanations of marketing, in my opinion, I have ever read, in all the marketing books I've ever consumed. And he basically breaks marketing down into 2 ways of looking at marketing. You have the people you haven't met, and you have the people that you've met. And what moves people from the haven't mets to the mets is permission to stay in touch. Permission is the line between a met and a haven't met. Okay. Consent. All right. So when you have a marketing problem, you start with, okay, who are the haven't mets? Well, your haven't mets is a purchased or compiled list of strangers, and they might lightly know who you are. I wouldn't say there's consent and permission, just like communicate with them, right? But you need to get that list and you need to craft an offer, some direct response offer, and get it in front of them, probably a lot of them, to find someone who's actually motivated to generate a response. And that's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk today about going after your haven't mets. Now, viral marketing doesn't do this. This is not what viral marketing does. Viral marketing works your mets, but I wouldn't be able to help you guys if I didn't talk about a haven't met strategy that you need to follow to build your database in the first place of the right people. So once you execute this haven't met strategy, which is usually incredibly time consuming or incredibly expensive, that's what is a challenge with that, right? You get some response. You get some people to respond back. You get some people to opt in. You get some people to take you up on your direct response offer. They move across that line, which is permission, and they become now a met, right? And on the met, you put them on your 36 touch campaign. That's viral. So with that being said, let's assume you've read at this point the prerequisite for class, which is the lead generation model and the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, David. Define your haven't mets for me. Who do you want to go after?
Sellers who live in a particular type of home in a particular area in my town, who have lived in their home for at least 5 years.
Okay. Let's build that list right now for you. Now,
Okay.
there are different services you can use to do exactly what I'm doing. Now, again, Viral does not do what I'm doing here for you. We only execute lessons 2 through 8, but I happen to know how to do lesson 1. Okay. So you can use Remine, which is in your MLS. You might have RealQuest, which is in your MLS, or you can use kind of a third-party provider, which you guys can go sign up for now, called Propstream or Property Radar. I'm going to go into Propstream right now, so you're going to see this. But the very first thing we have to do is we have to get a list of haven't mets and bring focus to going after people that actually have the problem you solved, David. Okay. So here we are. I am inside Propstream. Okay. Would you say it's a zip code or a county? Give me a geographic area you want to go after. A city?
Sure, let's do 89149.
Okay. 89149. So I'm going to type in 89149, and there are 16,004 properties in that zip code. So once you write down 16,004, it would be impossible to sell more than that. That is the total addressable market. Got it?
Yes.
So now you want single family homes. So I'm going to drill this down by single family. There are 13,672 single family homes in that market. So we're kind of filtering it down a little bit more. And then you said you like the idea that they've lived in it for at least 5 years. So I'll put a floor of length of ownership of 5 years. We have 7,521. A lot of people moved there recently. Is that your market? Do you want to maybe put a floor or a ceiling on the price? Or is any price fine there?
Is there a ability to floor or do by lot size? I want
Yes.
big houses on bigger lots. So at least has to have a lot square footage, let's say of 13,000 square feet.
There you go. 13,000. Wow. 2,200. Okay. Here's the deal with that. I always don't, just for what it's worth, I don't know how accurate that is, because if the assessor or recorder doesn't have it, I don't think it shows up. Got it. So the more selects you put on there, if that information's blank and their database doesn't pull, so just keep that in mind. But for what I want you to focus on the principles. For what it's worth, David, this list of 2,242, do you have that?
I do.
Do you have it saved like on your desktop? Do you have like a spreadsheet of those people?
I have to update. I could update it, but
All right.
I have that list.
I want you to make sure that you have it. And then what you can do is when you basically save this, it'll give you let me show you. I won't for the sake of pricing, I won't export this one, but let me see if I can show you an example.
Okay.
Okay, here's a zip code of 68116. So you see how this is going to have the owner first name? It's going to have the owner last name, right? It's going to have the mailing address where the tax statement goes. It's going to have the property type, all this information. Do you see this?
Yes.
The property address. I want you to download that and export that. First name, last name, property address, city, state, zip, mailing address, city, state, zip. And then if you want, I'll ask you this in a minute, you can add and you can append phone numbers and emails. Do you see that? Only if you're going to use them. I wouldn't spend the money on them, but only if you're going to use them.
Okay.
So David, we're going to make the decision right now. On the viral marketing plan, you're going to go after those arguably 2,200 people.
Yes.
And as far as I'm concerned, those are the only people I want you adding to your database. We have to bring focus. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right. Boom. David, you're focused. Go pull that list. Make sure you have the spreadsheet. We're going to talk about how to reach out to here in a second. Rob, Phoenix,
Yes, sir.
what do you want from all this? You want sellers? Is that what you're going for?
I want distressed sellers.
What type of distressed sellers?
I like those who, where there was
Let me ask you this question. Is
Go
it all of Maricopa County, all of Phoenix? Is there a zip code?
probably Mesa is the preferred.
Mesa? Okay.
Mhm.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go into Propstream again. You don't have to use Propstream. You can use anything. The
Okay.
point here is I want you to see the principles of how we're building your haven't met list, and we're bringing extreme focus to your marketing, because when you have limited resources, you have to attack on a narrow front. So I'm going to type in Mesa. Dude, Mesa's up and coming, man. All right, so let's take a look here really quick. So in Mesa, there's 185,699 properties. Okay. And I'm assuming that you want to go after single family. So why don't you write that number down just to see the total addressable market of anything you could possibly sell in Mesa is about 186,000. Okay.
Okay.
Now we're going to go over here to single family. There's 126,000 roughly single family homes in Mesa. All right.
Yep.
But you want the distressed ones.
Yes.
So check this out. What do you want?
I don't see
Is it
estate.
popping up on my screen?
Yeah, it is. I'm
Okay,
looking
so-
for like those where, yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Deceased owners, there it is. Pre-probate.
Probate? There we go.
Yep.
171. Do you have that list?
I don't.
Get it. We're going to bring extreme simplicity to marketing. We are going to get a list of the people you want as clients. That's the message of lesson number one. We're either going to build it, which usually there's two types of lists. There's a response list and compiled list. This is a compiled list. What's really nice about homeowners is I can literally get their contact information. Like there it is. Buyers is harder. You got to kind of like, trap them online because they're looking. I can't really just go buy a list of buyers, right? But sellers, I can actually get this list. So I would recommend, why don't you grab all these probates? Now, is that all you want to go after is just probates?
Probably go after the divorce, bankruptcy, the
Okay, here's
Yeah,
divorce.
potentially
We
the
have
funeral.
47. There's
Okay.
47 in Mesa. I want you to get that list. You want bankruptcy,
sure.
the trustee. So you're probably gonna have to figure out how to. Here's the deal. There's probably only a couple of trustees that represent the creditors in bankruptcy. They're all like a little buddy network. That's a good relationships to build. But there's 98 of those going through bankruptcy in Mesa. Foreclosure, 78. So your assignment is to go get that list. Whatever service you want to use, download it. You have the first name, last name, property address, mailing address of all those distressed properties in Mesa. And if you choose to cold email them, and if you choose to cold call them, you can spend a little extra money and append phone numbers. Just so you know, Propstream is $99 a month for 10,000 exports a month. It's about a penny an export. It's pretty inexpensive. You could sign up for 1 month, export your leads, cancel it, $100, not a bad deal, right?
Yeah.
So Rob, Are you focused on who you're going to target, who you're going to go after? Are you cool with this audience?
Yes. What do I do with them? What's the best way to attack them?
Well, that's next. We got to get the list first.
Okay. All
I
right.
got you, man. Don't
Okay.
worry. I got you. Brandy, who do you want? Who do you want to
Seven
go
eight
after?
six six zero is
All right.
the zip code that I'm after.
All right. So let's do
It's
this.
in Pflugerville. It starts with a P.
7-8.
Six
Should I,
six
should I, should I
zero.
type in Pflugerville, you think?
I can do zip code if you want, or
Yeah.
Pflugerville.
What's the zip code?
78660.
Okay. So in that market, there are 41,000 properties. 41,000 total properties. Now, single family, because you want sellers, right? There are 33,000. Okay. Well, let's drill it down a little more.
Yeah, I would say kind of like you guys had talked about, maybe larger homes, larger lots, or 5 or more years in the house.
5 or more years. And we could sit here and spend a whole day of like how to build a likely to sell list, right? I just want you to ground you of like this is even possible, of a place to start with all of your energy of going after just them versus like floundering around, right? We want to focus the efforts on these homeowners. So at least 5 years. And you said lot size. What do you want?
Larger, I mean,
What do you think?
I don't know square footage wise. I mean, I would say like 0.19 of an acre is how I look at it. So I don't know how that
What's 0.19 of an acre? David, Rob, come on, realtors. Do we know?
You guys remember that from the test?
What do you think, David?
I think it's about 7,500 square feet.
100? All right.
Thanks,
Maybe
David.
maybe 8,000.
All right.
Yeah, close to 8 or 9,000.
Okay, that's a good sized farm. Brandy, 9,600 homes. Okay.
What's the ideal size? I mean, I guess it depends on your budget or
Yes, I'm gonna get to that in a second. So
Okay.
what I want you guys to walk away with here, and this first 10 or 15 minutes of doing this, you have to build your database of the right people. You all want listings, you all want sellers. So pick a county, pick a zip code, figure out how many single family homes, if that's what you want to go after it is. Some people are in commercial, right? And then instead of just going after all the single family, let's put some filters on it, maybe length of ownership. Okay. Or lot size. Or maybe let's leave out all the trusts and LLCs and only go with natural persons on the deed. Follow me? Or let's drill it down really niche, like what Rob's doing. And let's go after only like the distressed properties in that market, or maybe only the old expireds. Right? There's other ways to build this list. Okay. So you can use Propstream to export a list. So what we're getting at here is I need a list of homeowners you're going to go after. Let's not worry about the size yet, but of hopefully a little bit more statistically likely to sell their home than not. And you may be wondering, like, how much action's in a zip code? You can go to the title company, or there's a cool tool called Melissa Data, has like home sales by zip code. And you could type in a zip code and it will tell you how many homes have sold every single month. And then if you take that, probably multiplied by, let's say, the median price, and then by 6% or 5%, you can see how much commission money is moving through the system in that zip code, what the total addressable market of commission money is. And generally speaking, when you're picking a zip code, it's nice to have a good what's called turnover rate, where, let's say 4 or 5% of all the homes in that area sell per year. That means there's transaction money to earn, right? So there's one more thing you could do. You don't have to. I just want to share this with you. Is you can use the information on the deed, like in Propstream, to build your list. There's also companies out there that take all the homeowners and they run them through big data of like the websites you're visiting, your iPhone location, what you're purchasing on your credit card, what you're saying your social media is all being like spied on. All right. One of those big companies, and they do that within reason, is called Axiom. They can spit out like a likely to sell list, okay, based upon behavior data. Okay. You'll see companies pop up, well, not pop up, but around. Likely.ai does this. I believe Reevaluate or Revolve does this. Offers.com, OFFRS does this. List Source, which is a core logic product, also does this. Okay. One of the data companies I use is SL360. They have a likely to sell list. All right. Here's the deal. Your eyes start crossing when you start doing this. All right. So at the end of the day, let me give you the answer. You just have to reach more people. At the end of the day, you just reach out to every single family home that exists. It's about reaching more and getting more tickets in lottery for response than probably niching the list down smaller and smaller and smaller and spending more money on data. Okay. So, first lesson today. Your assignment for today is all of you need to have a spreadsheet of the homeowners that you're going to go after on your desktop. And you guys know how to do that. And you guys can pull something that makes sense to you to pick your list of who you think is likely to sell. All right. The next thing we have to do is we have to come up with a message. What's the message we're going to put in front of these homeowners? Okay. I'm going to give you the main ones right now. Okay. Would you like to know what your home is worth? I will tell you. Would you like to know what a buyer will pay for your home in this market with 8% interest rates and tight money? Would you like to know what your home is actually worth? Or would you like to know what your home would actually be worth if you updated anything that might be dated or damaged? That's especially important for homes that have been owned for a long time. I can tell you, I'm talking to buyers every single day. I know what current buyer preferences are. I know the type of buyer that buys over here, right? Would you like me to tell you what your home is worth? I'll do it for you at no charge. How do you guys feel about that first message? That'll get response, right? That's pretty typical. Let me give you your second message. This is the second option for that market. Hey, I have a buyer for your home. There's only X number of homes for sale in this area, in this zip code, or in Mesa. It's low, relatively speaking. And I have someone who's pre-qualified. I have someone that signed the buyer's agency agreement. I have someone that has proof of funds that's looking for a home, maybe like yours. And if you'd like to know what my buyer can pay you, call me and I can tell you exactly what they're willing to pay. And if you don't like their offer, I might be able to get you some other ones too, working my network, or maybe even traditionalists in the house, should you want to do that. So if you're thinking of selling your home and you'd like to know what my buyer can pay you off market, so you can bypass the hassle of a traditional sale, call me, I'll tell you. And I can arrange the whole sale off market without any showings, open houses, no stress. Probably at even a reduced commission. Call me. That's the second message. That's an I have a buyer message that works. I'll give you a third message. Hey, are you thinking of selling your home? I'm teaching a workshop. I'm going to teach you everything you could possibly want to know to sell your home for the absolute most amount of money. A lot has changed when it comes to selling a home. You probably are getting letters and phone calls from investors, let alone in Phoenix for distressed properties. They're going to have bags of mail, Rob. Okay. If you want me to explain all of your options, do you work with an investor? Do you rent out your home? How do you move into your next one? Can you use the equity in your current home to buy your next one? How do you qualify for a mortgage? Maybe you want to remodel your current home. Come to my free home selling workshop. Get yourself a free ticket. It's at this date, it's at this time, whether it's online or in person at the local library, doesn't matter. Register now to get your free home selling workshop ticket and avoid the painful mistakes that sellers commonly make when selling their home. And make sure that you can sell your home for the absolute most amount of money with the least amount of hassle. I've been a realtor for decades. I'll tell you everything you need to know. Buy a ticket now. It's free. How's that? David, which of those three messages are you going to run to that market?
I am toying between message 1 and 3. I've done some home selling workshops in the last couple of months, so that probably is what I'd be most interested in for this new target market.
Got it. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to EventBrite and I want you to create a home selling workshop for that zip code. And what zip code is that called? What is that? Summerlin?
No, that'd be the Northwest. I'd call that
North,
just the Northwest.
sorry, Northwest. So it's the Northwest Las Vegas home selling workshop. Come to David Brownell's Northwest Las Vegas home selling workshop. Hi, do you have these problems? Do you have these frustrations? Are you thinking about selling your home? I have the solution. I'm going to go over all these points. Register now. If you just go to Google and type in home selling workshop, or if you type in home selling workshop into Eventbrite, you'll see hundreds of these. Okay. Just kind of borrow what they say on their pages and just put it together. So when someone gets a free ticket, you ask for their name, phone number, contact information. It's all there. If there was someone maybe you can model to help you out creating the Eventbrite page, I would check out Sue Adler. She's an agent in North Jersey. SueAdler.com, ADLER. If you go to her website, SueAdler.com, you'll see seller workshops. And she does very niche ones all over North Jersey for all the towns, just like you're doing a niche one.
Mhm.
Just model it. If you Google Sue Adler, Frank Klesitz, you'll see an interview I did with her on seller workshops. I'd go listen to that. So you're going to have your list of everybody in that zip code that are homeowners that you want to go after. And now you're going to have your message, which is your Eventbrite registration page that you're going to put together very specifically, speaking to the needs and concerns and the stats of Northwest Las Vegas. Are we clear? And I want you to put together an Eventbrite page. It looks awesome, Dave. That if I'm a homeowner, I'm like, okay, this is legit. I actually want to attend this, and I click register. Now, whether you want to hold that as a webinar or you want to hold it in person, it really doesn't matter. It actually doesn't even matter if you hold the workshop because you got the lead. Fair enough. It was just a thought, right?
Right.
So that's going to be your message. Rob, I'm giving you 3 messages. What's your home worth? I have a buyer, or a workshop. Or if you think there's a 4th one that would work, let me know.
I think
What's the message?
the 4th one for the distressed sellers, maybe, I can provide you a cash offer.
So the second option, I have a buyer.
Yes, but
That's
buyer.
a cash buyer. Yeah. So the second message is the guaranteed offer, cash buyer. I have a buyer. Okay. So here's what you're going to do. I want you to write down just put this just on a sheet of paper. Here's the message on just a pull up Word, right? Are you thinking about selling your home at property address, merge in property address? Okay. Dear first name, do you have any interest in selling your home at property address, merge? I have a very motivated buyer that wants to pay you 100% fair market value for your home. Fair market value, not full, fair. Keyword. I've approved their funds. They're ready to go, and they're willing to make an offer even just on some pictures or some video of your property. This is a sincere note. There's only X number of homes for sale in the zip code. Inventory is low. And if you're open to me putting together a fast, quick, immediate cash offer for your home at a price that is extremely fair given the market, please call me and I will tell you exactly what my buyer will pay you on the phone. To my best, I'll give preliminary before I see it, right? That's what they want to know. They want to know the price. What's your buyer willing to pay me? Then you look it up on Zillow and you kind of give an idea. But like if you want to really know what it will actually stick through, once you go through inspection, you probably have to see it, which at that time you set an appointment to go look at it to give them a more accurate offer to represent your buyer. Okay. So here's a little bit more about me. I've been in business for so long. I have X number of reviews. This is a sincere message. Please call me on my cell. If you're thinking of selling, I can tell you what my sincere buyer is willing to pay you for your house. How's that, Rob?
Pretty good.
Yeah. If you're struggling to find buyers there in Phoenix, go to easystreetoffers.com. There's 25 hedge funds on that. Same thing with you, Dave. EasyStreetOffers.com. All you have to do is sign up there. They'll pay you 3%, and there's no monthly fees. And as long as you're a licensed agent, you send them the photos, you send them the videos, and they'll probably kick back offers. There's 20, I think the last time I checked, there's 25 institutions on the platform, and they're very active in Phoenix and Vegas. I don't know about Austin, Brandy. How do you feel about that message, Rob? Are you comfortable with that?
I think so.
Why would you not be? Why are you not overjoyed with that message? Talk to me. I want you to feel ethical. I want you to feel correct. Talk to me about why that's the message I want you to put in front of them.
Because I didn't write it down as fast as you said it.
Rob, it's recorded.
There you go. Now I'm comfortable.
You're all set, buddy. All right. Okay. So Rob, we talked about today we have to build your list. We're going to start by getting a list of your target market, which I showed you how to do. Dave, same thing with you. And now we're going to write a direct response offer for that market you're comfortable with. So you're going to put that down on a sheet of paper, Rob. And then Dave, you're going to put that down on EventBrite. Okay. Brandy, pick one. What's the direct
Yes.
response offer you want to put in front of those people there?
So it's been evolving as you've been talking, Frank, because as you're talking, my wheels are turning, and I'm thinking that number 3, the workshop, but rather than that zip code that I gave you that has over 5 years, and what I'm thinking now is I would like to target downsizing seniors and do a workshop for them.
Yeah,
I think
that's a good
great
market.
group.
Okay,
Because they'll actually show up.
Let's rerun it.
They don't have other stuff going on.
Here, we'll rerun this one. So here's your zip code, right? 78660.
Yes.
Okay. Check this out. So there are 33,000 properties there. They're single families. You have 33,000 single family homes. But let's check this. Let's do owned for 30 years. 6. A little long. Let's do 20 years. Hang on. Ownership info. I can also tell you they're not going to be in a trust or LLC either. So let's just do individually owned. Okay, 3,000. How about that?
Yeah.
They've owned the home for 20 years. Do you think they might be a little confused if they need to sell, need a little guidance?
I think so. And I think I can help them.
Good. You like that market. You feel comfortable talking to that market.
Oh, 100%.
I need you to go get this list. All of your energy, all of your focus, all of your time, all of your capital, which capital is more than money. It's everything. All of your emotional capacity goes into those 3,000. So it's focused. All right.
Yes.
Good. That's a big shift. A way of looking at things. Okay. Now, what's the message you want to do a seller workshop?
Yes. Because I think a lot of times the confusion there is, where do I even start? This house has work. So I think that's what it could be. I think the workshop can cover all of that.
Okay. Do you live in 78660 in Pflugerville and have owned your home for quite some time? Well, you've noticed the tech industry is eating up our city, and you've seen home prices probably quadruple, right? And there's no lack of different people that are assaulting you from air, sea, and land, but all the ways to sell your house. And can any of them be trusted? Who knows? My name's Brandy. I've been a realtor here for a long time, and I want to invite you to my seller workshop. There are so many options to sell your home. You can do a reverse mortgage. Do you need to move into a long-term care facility? What do you do with all of your stuff? What about the home's dated or damaged? Is that really going to cost you an arm and a leg if you want to go sell it? Will even get approved for FHA loan? Follow me? All these questions that come up. Well, I'm going to answer them all. Just get a ticket. If you're thinking of selling, I'm going to answer all these questions for you that are very specific to you. If you lived in your home for a long time in Pflugerville, right? See how specific this is? Come get a ticket. I'll teach you everything you know, whether it's in person or online. And honestly, I got to be honest with you, even with an older demographic, I've seen both work. I've seen both work. There's pros and cons each way. Probably if it was your first one, maybe do it in person. And the public library is a really good choice. So the public library, they will rent you space real cheap. And it'll be a nice little place to hold a meeting. So you feel good with that message, Randy? Okay. So you have the same assignment. I need you to go sign up for EventBrite, fill out your profile, make it look amazing. Go call it, Randy's home selling workshop, Pflugerville, whatever. Okay. Write the copy. So you need to write like what problem, what pain points this workshop will solve for that specific market. I want you to speak to that specific person when you write the EventBrite page. All right. And if you need some like a swipe file to model, again, just type in seller workshop on EventBrite. It's a search engine. You'll see hundreds. Or type in home selling workshop on Google Images or Google. You'll see hundreds. Or go see what Sue Adler does. She actually targets downsizers in North Jersey. Same market. All right. Go see what she's doing on her website. And actually, how about we pull it up? Let's take a look. Here. Let me turn my sound on so you guys can hear it. All right, so sell. Okay, sell. Here we go. Virtual and in-person home selling workshops. Case in point. So see how there's all these little different areas. So she has a Summit workshop, Melbourne workshop, Livingston workshop, Morristown workshop. There's all these different workshops. I mean, you can do these all over Vegas, all over the niche areas of Austin, all over the niche areas of Phoenix, right? It's not loading. See how it's not going, guys? Well, whatever. Go to that link. Got it? Here, I'll put it in the chat. It's not loading on my end. Hang on. There you go. Okay. You all have your list. You know how to get it. You all have your message. You know how to write it. And there's a very clear, immediate reason to respond. A compelling offer. Are we clear on like what the main point is? Right, here it is. It loaded. Hang on. Let's go back to the workshop. Yeah, see how she has all these workshops coming up all over the city, right? So here's the content. Here's the copy.
Hi, it's Sue Adler here from Keller Williams Realty, and today I am here
Can you guys
to
hear that?
invite you to our upcoming seller workshop.
I just watched this right back.
So we found that homeowners who have been in their home for many years often feel very overwhelmed with the thought of putting their home on the market. They have so much stuff in their homes. They're concerned about repairs they have to make. What do they have to do to get their homes ready for the market? Well, we're here to demystify the home selling process for you, and that is what our seller workshop is basically going to do. We're going to start with home staging, which repairs are necessary and which aren't necessary. We want to make sure that if you're spending money to put your house on the market, that you're going to make money back. We don't want you spending money in the wrong places. We're also going to talk about timing. You know, everybody thinks, oh, I want to put my house on the market when my flowers are in bloom, but maybe that's not the best time to put your house on the market because that's when everyone else is putting their house on the market. So we will go through, I have stats, I have data on everything. So we'll sit down and we'll determine which is the best time for you to put your house on the market. So you will also learn about pricing your home to create the most interest, which will keep you in the driver's seat throughout the whole transaction. And you'll also learn what happens when you overprice your home, which puts the buyer in the driver's seat. And then if you do make that mistake, what steps you should take to correct that quickly.
So for the sake of time, I'll let you guys go ahead and watch that there, but kind of get the idea. And now you have someone to model. Okay. All right.
Yep.
You all now have a very clear, very focused attack on narrow front. Here's a needy niche that you're going to go after and serve and solve their problem. We've also written a message that generates a lead, a very clear, compelling way to respond to somebody who's thinking about selling their home. Direct response advertising. The last piece of this is the media. How do we get the message to the market? What's the media? Let me show you guys something. there's a mental uh, shape I'm using in my head as I think about this message media market triangle. Where's it at? Images. Here it is. Okay, so do you guys see this like triangle right here? We have to pick a market on the right-hand side of the triangle, the who. You all have the who. We know who we're going after. Once we know the who on the right side of the triangle, now we need to have the message. It needs to be a very clear problem solve. Do you have this problem? I have this solution. This is how I want you to respond to get this direct response style message. Once you have the have it met market of the list and you have the direct response message, now you have to pick the media. The media is the bottom. How are we going to get the what to the who? So the media. Now, where the rookies make the mistake is they're jumping around on medias. Oh, I'm going to use email. I'm going to use social media. I'm going to use TikTok. I'm going to use direct mail. I'm going to use cold calling. I'm going to use texting. I'm going to use, et al. All these possible medias, right? But what they miss is who's seeing it. A lot of times I have no idea. And the message is not a direct response offer that generates an actual seller lead. Got it? And it leads to a lot of confusion. All right. So what's up? I think my wife paid it up front. If I didn't, I got a card for you at a hotel. Got to pay for breakfast. So now let's talk about medias, right? Getting the message to the market. So let's talk about the seller workshop. How are we going to get the seller workshop in front of the eyes of a homeowner? All right. Let me give you your options. These are all the things you can do. You can send them a note. You can mail them a letter. You can mail them a postcard. You can mail them a letter. You can mail them an invitation. Let's not worry about that. The point is we can use the physical mail. Hey, homeowner, are you thinking of selling? I have this workshop coming up. Give me a call to get a free ticket. Go online to register for a ticket. I'd love to see you there. We can use mail, right? And there's a cost to that, and there's some thought to that media, but we can use mail. It's certainly an option. The next option, we can call them, right? We can go into Propstream. We can append phone numbers, and that could be that great. You could sit here and debate what the best phone numbers are all day long, but we can get the phone numbers. We can purchase them. We can call them. Hey, I work for David Brownell, or I am David Brownell. Just want to know if you're thinking of selling your home. I'm teaching a free workshop at the library. Do you want to come? Want a free ticket? It's kind of the gist, right? Could you text them? Sure. Same thing. You could text them the same thing. Same type of message. Now you have to be compliant and there's legal things you have to think about and scrubbing DNC, of course. But could you text them? Yes. Could you cold email them? Could you buy all of their emails? And maybe just go through and just start sending one-to-one emails through your email account? Or could you load them all up into an email program that wouldn't necessarily shut you down for sending out that invite email? Yes. And that email program, by the way, that is kind of used as EventBrite, you can probably buy the emails and upload them to EventBrite. And EventBrite actually sends out emails, okay, to invite people. The answer is yes. Could you get your butt in the car and drive around and put on the damn door? Yes, 100%. Could you ring the doorbell? Yes. Okay. Do you see how we're thinking this through? The answer is yes to all of those things. Okay. But the list is the same and the message is the same. Do you want a free ticket to my seller workshop? Do you want an offer from my cash buyer? Got it? And now it comes down to why teams exist. Because some people are able to take the risk on the lead generation and some aren't. And the people that don't have the money and can't take the risk on the lead generation work for the people who do at the end of the day. David?
I know this isn't part of the viral segment, but how far in advance, let's say we've planned a home seller workshop for the middle
2
of
weeks.
October. Two
Start promoting
weeks?
it. Yeah, start promoting it 2 weeks beforehand. That's anecdotally what I would recommend. I know what you're asking. So what you could do, so let's say this works. Let's say it works. Let's say we figure out a media strategy. You like that? We have a market, we have a message, we figure out a media strategy. Sure, we're going to call them, we're going to text them, we're going to email them, we're going to direct mail them. And yes, there's cost with all that, and we have to know our cost for customer acquisition. There's a risk and there's stress, and all of it's terrible. Trying to get the message out. All right. But at least there's certainty of you're delivering the right message to the right market. Got it. Okay. At least you have that certainty. But you could sit down and go through all the little niche areas of Vegas and plan out a whole year of workshops, couldn't you? And 2 or 3 weeks, let's say before a workshop, you start the machine. You start the machine, and the machine just goes all throughout the city. You could have davestourdates.com. Dave, Dave goes on tour with his seller workshops all over Las Vegas. Brandy, how many different niche areas of Austin are there? Ton, right? Right? You could have your tour dates. If here's all these workshops you teach 2 or 3 times a year in each area for all the homeowners thinking of selling, and plan them all out for the year and start your promotions a couple weeks in advance. It's kind of like an open house, actually. If you think about how you'd promote an open house, same idea.
And then Frank, are we gonna get into kind of the zero cost of like bringing in our vendor partners?
Lesson 8, yes, lesson 8. So
Okay.
on lesson 8, one of the offers of why someone should sponsor you and by advertising is you're gonna give them a booth at your workshops or a virtual booth, right? And we'll let them speak. It can be part of your advertising agreement of who wants to be in front of a bunch of downsizers. Definitely nursing homes or long term, whatever they're called now. Resorts, senior resorts, right? So hopefully in this hour I spent with you guys, any one of these strategies takes like a lifetime to kind of master. Okay. Like, but if you were to come to me, say, Frank, viral isn't working, I'm not getting results from viral, probably the first question I would ask you is, are you building your database? And I usually get maybe like, okay, well, what's your target market? I don't know. Okay, well, do you have a list of those people in your target market? No. Okay, well, okay, let's say we do get that list. Do you have like an ongoing haven't met strategy to build your database? Whatever media you choose with a direct response message to put in front of them to get response, right? No, that's the plan. So let me give you my favorite strategy. If you had to pick one of those strategies, my choice is direct mail. That's what I've used. I've used direct mail. It's probably the more expensive version of it, but it just gets the job done. You just write it on a letter and you put it in the mailbox, right? Somebody reads it, especially like a more older market, you probably have more of a response than mailing a bunch of 20-year-olds. Okay. You get calls. So just for example, this is an agent up in Seattle. She sat in on this lesson last semester and was like, okay, I have a whole bunch of zip codes that I want to get listings in. I like the I have a buyer message. And we had a list of 10,000. So she's like, let's send 10,000 letters. Now the cost of that was $8,500, but she knew in Seattle she could afford to spend maybe $2,000 to $3,000 to get a listing as a customer acquisition cost, which is usually maybe 10 to 20% of the listing commission that you're probably be willing to spend to get it, right? And she rolled the dice. She wired $8,500 to the mail house to mail 10,000 letters with I have a buyer. Now, let's take a look at the results. Out of 10,000 letters from August 15th to September 13th, she had 120 people call her about selling their house. And you can go through here and you can see all of the calls. Well, they had some of them be duplicated, but here's all the leads. And you can go on here and actually just kind of click play on any of them.
You wrote me about selling my house. I don't think I'm interested in selling my house, but I am interested in how much I could get for it if I should decide to. And my phone number
Okay,
is,
something there. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Right. You probably want to think about selling your house, right? So the point is this: do you see how that you get response? People call, right? It's the same thing as you'll see registrations come in through EventBrite, and if you get it right, it works. If you get that triangle on point, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was I have a buyer call me, and so we're going to, let's say the workshop is an alternative call to action. But what if I don't want to attend your workshop, but I want to know what my house is worth? Is there a way to, is
Oh,
that
100%. Yeah. Then
calls to action?
here's the deal. All three of these call to actions or any call to action you use is just somebody who wants to sell and doesn't really know what to do. So they all come in, they're all seller leads. As far as I'm concerned, they're just a homeowner who wants to sell. And then after you identify their needs, you kind of explain all their options. As far as I'm concerned, all three types of leads are effectively the same. It's a homeowner who's open to a discussion about selling their home, which is a big deal. And they're just not sure. And they need your guides to figure out their best options. All right.
Okay, is there a least resistant path to, I have a buyer, or find out what your home is worth, than getting someone to sign up and either come to a virtual or live workshop? And are
If you,
we picking have we created our own worst enemy at the outset?
these are all great questions, Dave. If you were to ask me the number one lead generation message to put out, if there was a gun to my head, is I have a buyer. How's that?
I've said.
There you go. Yeah. It's the I have a buyer message, right? The two supplementary to that would be the seller workshop and the home value. But you got to pick one, right? You don't know.
Well, why not? So what do I mess up by sending two letters into 10,000 people for $17,000 and two
Sure.
different messages, a
Yes.
workshop and I have a buyer?
Yes. Yeah, those are all great. So here's the deal. We can get caught up in, here's what I want you to get to leave you guys with this. All right. We only have an hour. I want you guys to have the right principles to make these decisions. There is no right or wrong answer. Okay. But if the tactic that you choose, so Dave went through some tactics. Well, should we use that call to action or that nuanced call to action? Well, they're both seller leads, right? Or how many people do I mail? Well, more. That's the answer usually, right? These are we're kind of dancing around the big rocks. And if we get the big rocks right, the odds are in your success. Let's go over these rocks again. The right mailing list, the right offer, the good mailing list, a targeted offer, using the media that the consumer wants. How does the consumer want to be communicated with? Do they really want to be called? No. They really want to be cold texted? Probably not, right? What's the best media that the consumer wants is how I would filter that decision. And that's why I chose mail. It's probably why it works so well. All right. It's kind of like, Dave, hey man, how do you want me to communicate with you? You know, Brandy, how would you like me to, you want me to text you, want me to email you, want me to call you, want me to write you, fax you? You know what? Ask them. That's how that's the principle I would use of like which media is best. And now here's all that matters at the end of the day on advertising and prospecting of just getting this message out to your target market, just beating it over their head, is customer acquisition cost. It's going to cost time and money to do it and risk. And the people that do it are the employers. The people that don't are the employees. That's it. Okay. It's risk. At the end of the day, you're going to have to go put money on a credit card and roll the dice. There's no way around it. Okay. Or you're going to have to be on the phone constantly or door knocking all day long with all of your time. Okay. But the way I want you to think about it is how much are you willing to spend to get a customer? It's called customer acquisition cost. You have to know that. If you were to take all of your new customers for the entire year and divide it by the total amount of money you spent to generate the lead in the first place, a really good number is 10%. An acceptable number is 20%. You're really, really, really pushing it at 30%. Are we clear on that? And people will pay 30, maybe even up to 50% for referral fees all day long for a risk-free deal where you pay that money at close, where there's no upfront risk. And sure, if you're not going to take any risk on getting the business, we pay someone 30% close. Sure, great, there's no risk. But if you're going to take the risk, you should be paying 30%, more like 10. So there's that profit reward of that margin of getting your customer acquisition costs down. Do you guys see how I think about that? So if you were to take, let's say in Pflugerville, what would your typical commission be at a typical commission rate? If you had to guesstimate your total commission for a typical home in that area, Brandy, what would it be?
Would be around 15,000.
So I would say if your customer acquisition cost was $1,500, if you spent $1,500 on mail and got a deal, sold, rinse and repeat. If you spent $3,000 to get a deal, sold, rinse and repeat. If you're spending a little more than that, better have other ways to monetize it. Adopting the buyer, getting mortgage, getting title, something like that. All right, let's wrap it up. Do you guys have a plan to grow your database? Now that you have the tyranny of how, you're gonna have to figure it out, and Viral will not help you with anything we talked about today. But I promise you there's many vendors that will. At least you have the principles and the strategy. Do you have any questions about the strategy? We're going to go back to all 8 weeks. You're going to do seller workshops in that zip code unless you want to change your message. Is that right? Rob, how do you feel?
I'm excited that I'm not going to do seller workshops.
Okay, good. Yeah, you have a distressed. Yeah, your offer makes more sense with your market, right?
Yeah.
I will tell you, those people are being assaulted in Phoenix. It's a very rough market. You're going to have to pick a media that stands out. It's probably going to be putting something on their door with runners. Okay, let me just give you a tip. Go check out Routific.
What's that?
I'll show it to you. Routific.
Okay.
Okay. I want you to load up all those distressed sellers in Mesa into this software. It'll give you the optimized route. Go put the letter on their door. Either hire a runner to do it or you do it. It's gonna be difficult calling them. They shut off their phones. It's gonna be difficult emailing them. They don't have it. The mail is stacking up. Got it. You probably got to go to the house. And this will help you plan your routes. And you can do it because it's a more smaller niche list, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Frank, so a message for David and I, because I was thinking about what you said, David, is what if they don't want to go to the seminar, but they do want to talk? So would we want to say somewhere on the postcard or in the mailing, kind of to skip to the head of the line if you want to have a conversation?
You can put two call to actions. You can say, come to my seller workshop. By the way, if you really are interested in like what your home is worth, call me too and I'll tell you. That's called like a primary offer and secondary offer. Absolutely. I'm telling you guys, if you always go back to the principles we talked about today for any marketing decision and you follow the principles and the way, the lattice work of how we made our decisions today to approach the problem with that message, media, market triangle I showed you, and you rewatch this whenever you have a marketing problem, you cannot go wrong as long as there's a market. So here's the thing. Why would this not work? I'll tell you, there's no market. Nobody wants to sell. It's a real problem. Okay. No one's hungry. They're not going to buy a sandwich. There has to be a needy niche, which is the most important thing, which is why I would probably pick zip codes where there's a turnover rate and people are selling. So, there's actually a demand for your message. Now, there's demand for your message. This will work. All right. So next week, you have your assignments. I'll ask you next week on how you did on today. Don't ask Viral about anything today. We don't do this. But let's say you run these campaigns, you're going to get response. Let's get them in the database and put them on Viral. How about that? And that's what we're going to talk about next week. Any questions?
No, thank you. It was great.
What was your main, let's just leave it this. Dave, what was your top takeaway today?
That it's a proven process that I don't need to rethink, just need to follow the step-by-step approach to results.
Rob, what's your takeaway from today's lesson?
Really to get specific on who I want to add to the database, and going after those people.
Brandy, what was your takeaway?
The customer acquisition cost, the fact that you said 1,500 to make 15,000, it just makes sense.
Okay, good. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Okay, bye.
Later. See you guys.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye.